Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, because I gained a whole lot of subscribers since the last couple videos that I posted, my name is Tumi. I go by Tumiyuki on the internet. I'm now 23 years old. Yesterday was my birthday, so I'm a year older today. Woohoo, thank God. Today I want to make my walkaway video kind of part 2 and talk about what I experienced at a liberal college. So I moved to Portland like 3 years ago, and I'm originally from Texas, and then I lived in Massachusetts, and then I moved to Portland. So I was going to a school here in Portland. I'm not going to name the school. I was going to a school. I'm not going to mention any names at all in this because I want it to be obviously as discreet as possible. But I was going to a school in Portland, and I didn't know that Portland was a very liberal place. Like, I was politically aware of things, but I wasn't paying much attention because it didn't, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't really think about it. So I was going to this school, and I was taking like general classes. So like writing and all of that kind of stuff, whatever, whatever, whatever. And before that, I had gone to a school in Massachusetts, and then I came to a school here. So I got to experience different sides of the coin, college-wise. So when I went to school in Massachusetts, personal stuff was kept personal. We never talked about anything political. We just focused on school. But I noticed straight from the jump, really, this was 2015, 2016, and early 2017. So this is what happened, guys. Literally everything at the school that I went to was political. The teachers, not that you need to hide anything, right? But a lot of times, in my personal experience, unless you're going to a Christian school, teachers won't mention their religion, really, unless you bring it up and you're on the subject of it, of like, or you're talking after class, like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, whatever, whatever. Then your teacher will say, oh, I'm a Christian too. But they're never going to bring it up. They're never going to say, oh, God bless you in the classroom, really. Or be like, oh, let's open the Bible and pray, whatever, whatever. They never mention it, really. But at the school that I went to, it was always like, the first thing a teacher would talk about is their sexual orientation or whatever, 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 and how they're an advocate for A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And like, I'm not taking a sexual orientation class. And you know what I mean? I'm not taking, like, it's okay to be like, oh, me and my partner, me and my husband, me and my wife, whatever, whatever, whatever. But it would be like, okay, that's all I need to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I need to know. And like, some people just take it too far, like way, way too far. And it's just like, dude, like, we don't need to know all of this stuff about you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So straight from the cut, it was like, okay, all right, okay, so Portland is a way different place, because in other places that I lived in, nobody ever mentioned it. You know what I mean? Like, no one ever mentioned their spouses, really, or they would mention that they have kids or whatever. They'd be like, you know what I'm saying? So I was just a little surprised at how open a lot of people were with things, and Massachusetts is a very liberal place as well. There's a whole lot of Democrats over there, but like, I just, I didn't know that Portland was very, progressive, sure, if that's what they call it nowadays, right? Also, we didn't have a day in class. This is what would happen, right? So let's say that, because I was studying like applied arts when I was in Massachusetts, but then, like I said, here in Portland, I was taking general classes. So in Massachusetts, when we get to school, we'd be like, okay, do we have announcements or whatever? Or the teacher would be like, okay, this is what's going on in the art department. So everything we ever talked about was relating to the art department. And if we had something else going on, the school would email us and say, oh, or you'd get a newsletter and say, this is what's going on, whatever, whatever. But in Portland, every time we would get into class, every day, every single day, oh, so the Gay Straight Alliance or the the Muslim on campus is having this thing and this and this. But it's like, we have flyers at the school, you know what I mean? Like, we have flyers at the school and we can read the information. So I don't really think that it's relevant to announce that. Because if I was like, oh yeah, well, the the Jesus Christ Society is having this meeting every single day, people would be like, yo, but why are you trying to invite us to the Jesus Christ Society? If we want to know about your religion, we'll know about it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it would be like, for example, we had people who came to our school who were handing out like copies of the New Testament, and they had the right to be there and all that kind of stuff. And like people would just throw them in the trash, or people would take one and then leave them around. Like you could just say, "Hey, I'm not interested in this." You know what I mean? I don't want one. Sorry, you know, thank you though for offering it to me, and then move on with your day. But you know, it seemed as if there was definitely an angle. I'm not trying to offend anybody because I know everybody has a different background, but I personally felt like there was an angle with everything. So there were certain things, very political things, hot button political things that were being pushed. Definitely. I'm going to say that. That's just my personal opinion. If you disagree with me, I'm sorry, but that's just my personal opinion. So this was also around the time that Trump was, okay, first of all, I had an art class. I did take an art class. And I was like, hey, you know, could we play some Christmas music? Because it was like December. And they were like, we can't play any holiday music. I was like, what? My teacher was like, we can't play any holiday music because we don't want to offend other people who don't celebrate Christmas. And I'm just like, you could play Jingle Bells. That doesn't have anything to do with Jesus Christ's birthday. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, gosh, like, what is going on here? But then certain other things we had to talk about, or we had to, you know what I mean, discuss when it was like, but what relevance does this have in our class? If we're taking a figure drawing class, what does that have to do with gay rights? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, honest to God, like, what does that have? I don't see how those two things correlate. So then when Donald Trump began to run for president, oh my gosh, it was just every day we were taking for example, we took a communications class. And a person in my class was non-binary, whatever, right? Okay. And that person, I'm going to call them Apple. Apple sat right in front of me. And when you look at Apple, you see a girl with a buzz cut, like, you know, hat on, glasses, like doesn't shave her arms, whatever. And it was just like, so for example, the teacher, like I said, I don't bring things up unless they have a relevance to the topic. So what happened was we had a communications class and our teacher asked us, like, you know, what did he say? He was like, you know, when you first meet a person, like, what are things that you would want them to know, or what are things that you would talk about the first time you meet them? Everybody in the class was like, oh, you know, where they're from, how old they are, like, why they came to your school, whatever, right? Just general things about their background. Apple was like, oh, I'd want to know their pronouns. And I was just like, I was just like, dang, like, maybe I wasn't really in the loop because that's not my life. So, like, I don't think about those things. You know what I'm saying? So not that I don't think about those things, but it's just like, I would never ask somebody, hey, what do you want me to call you when I first meet you? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, like, that's just, that I've never thought that, because, for example, if you looked at me, you would assume, right, that I'm a woman, so you'd be like, to me, she is like this, and her brother is like this, whatever, right? So I was like, okay, wow, you know what I mean? Like, okay, wow. And once again, like I said, I don't mean to offend anybody or whatever, so if you're offended, I'm sorry, like, this is just my perspective. So as the communications class went on, there was somebody who sat next to me, Blueberry, and she randomly brought up about how she was in a polyamorous relationship, so she had multiple partners. And it would be like these things just come out of literally just come out of nowhere. But I guess it's a communications class. And then Blueberry also shared that, you know, her parents were divorced and they had a tumultuous relationship, and how maybe that could have affected her life and her life decisions and all that. Because we had to communicate about our pasts and all of that kind of stuff, really, but not like too deep. We could get as deep as we wanted, but they had general questions, and some people just threw out like hardcore stuff about their lives. Okay, fine. So then what happened was we had a moment in the class where our teacher asked us, so do you think that burning an American flag should be illegal? And most people we had mixed reviews because we were like, well, if you go to Walmart and you buy a flag, you could do whatever you want with the flag. If you take somebody else's flag, if I go to the post office and burn the flag there, that's not my property, so it's illegal. However, burning the flag is disrespectful. And I brought this up. I said, if I went to a LGBTQ rally and burnt a rainbow flag, because Apple and Blueberry, of course, well, Apple and Blueberry said, oh no, burning an American flag, you don't like what America stands for because it's racist and it's misogynistic and you're showing that you're against the system, right? Okay, fine, that's what they said. And I was like, okay, but if you go to an LGBTQ rally, no one's gonna say, oh, it's your right to burn the flag, you can do whatever you want. That's considered hate speech, and you would probably get arrested or fined or whatever because of being hateful, right? So Apple was so upset with me, and Apple sat right in front of me. So Apple turned around and was like, yeah, but sorry. said, yeah, but not, okay, I'm trying to get this quote right. Apple said to me, looked me in my face and said to me, not everybody on the flag is in that community. Like, there are people in the LGBTQ community who are not represented in the flag, so therefore I need to check my privilege. And I was just like, this is Tumblr in real life. Like, I was just like, this is Tumblr in real life. I cannot believe I'm experiencing this. This is Tumblr in real life. And the funny thing is that, when Trump was running for president, they had a walkout of the school because of how he's so racist and all of that kind of stuff. And people were, like, skipping school during the inauguration and, like, having meltdowns. And, like, they were like, we're not going to talk about this in class. We don't want to talk about it. We can't believe this is happening. And it was just like, damn, like, I didn't know. I did not. And the thing is that in Portland, the city got shut down because there were riots. Like, they literally tear gas. Like, you guys saw it on the news. Like, we couldn't take the trains or the buses because they were literally, like, they said it's unsafe to ride the trains. They blocked off highways and all that. And, of course, in January, they had the Women's March situation, which wasn't as hectic, of course, but, like, Portland was just a mess for days, and people were organizing all these protests and all that kind of stuff. And it's crazy because I moved to Nashville last fall and went to a Christian college. I go to a Christian college now. Because I was like, Portland was so crazy and just very toxic. That kind of toxicity of so much anger and so much hatred and so much negativity around me 24/7 was just driving me crazy. And I was like, yeah, I have to get out of this city. It's just, it was a lot to deal with. Like, guys, it was a lot. And so, for example, we talked about imperialism, right? In one of my classes. I'm going to make this point and then I'm going to go to my experience at a Christian college. So, we talked about imperialism. Somehow, people have the notion that it's only white Anglo-Saxon, like Northern Europeans, whatever, England, Britain, Spain, France, Portugal, that just destroyed the modern world, right? This is the world we live in. We didn't live in the era of the ancient Egyptians or the ancient Assyrians or the Babylonians to know what they were experiencing. But had we lived then, we would know that China was conquering Asia. You know what I'm saying? That, that Egypt was the America, was the Europe of the Middle Eastern African world because they were conquering all over the place. That the Assyrians, before the Greco-Roman whole expansion, we had the African, Arab, Asian whole situation, and like nobody talks about that. So I brought that up. I was like, we act like America is just this horrible place that like is trying to kill everybody and wipe out their culture, but like, look, this happens with everybody that's in charge. Like, everybody who's in charge sets the rules. You know what I'm saying? So people were just like, oh yeah, only one person in the class was like, oh yeah, you're right. And somebody was like, and they asked, what does make America great again mean to you? Me and another person were the only, like, in-closet conservatives in that classroom. This is right around when Trump was getting elected, right? So I can't tell you if this was before or after election day, but what happened was I was like, and the thing is, people are thrown off by me and my appearance because I'm black. I have a nose ring. People probably think that I'm an SJW or whatever they think. I don't know what people think about me. I don't really care about what people think about me. But what happened was I was like, oh, what make America great again means to me personally, when I hear people say that, is that we have to bring America back to a great economic state like it was in the 1950s, because after World War II, we were doing factory work and we created a bunch of jobs, and then America was able to get back on its feet and get out of the Great Depression, and we had a very stable economy, and people were living a good life. Other than racism, people were living pretty good, whatever you want to call it, if you don't talk about racism and Jim Crow, which was started by the Democrats, by the way, so that, things they don't tell you in history class, right? This girl on the other side of the class, she just happened to be white. That doesn't mean anything. But she was like, you are so wrong. You are just so wrong. You're so wrong. And I was like, excuse me, dog? Like, what's wrong with you? Literally, what is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And then I took a history class at this is all in Portland. Took a history class. We were talking about the ancient world, right? Egypt, Assyria, whatever, Babylon. We get to Israel, ancient Israel, because you have to talk about the Israelites if you're talking about Semitic, Middle Eastern, African history, because they played a part in it. Oh, the Israelites, they were desert people, and then they came, and then they had Israel for a little bit, and then they got taken over, and nobody knows why. What do you mean nobody knows why? It's in the Bible, dog. Open the Bible and read it, because that's the history of those people. What are you talking about? And it was just like, they were just really unorganized, and dude, but you're gonna spend 45,000 years talking about the Greeks and the Romans. You know what I'm saying? And like, the Bible is actually the most historically accurate ancient text when you really think about it, because they've done all the archaeological things and found out that the kingdoms and the places are legitimate places. They found all of the evidence. So you don't even have to believe in God or believe in the Judeo-Christian God or principles to know that this book is historically accurate. Like, dude, like, you know what I mean? And then this dude was trying to defend pedestry, like pediastry, however you pronounce it, with the Greeks, how they had little boys, and he was like, oh, that was just their culture. Like, are you joking? Like, that's what I'm talking about. There was a certain worldview and philosophy that they were literally trying to push down our throats and say, oh, this is all okay, And then we had to learn all about, like, Egyptian gods and goddesses, but you can't say God bless you if somebody sneezes, like, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, so once I moved to Nashville, I went to a Christian school. And boom, to my surprise, in Nashville, Tennessee, I never saw anybody with a Trump hat. I never saw anybody, wearing this, wearing that, whatever. Not that that matters, because you could wear whatever you want. But people assume that, like, the South is full of racist old white men. Dude, no, it's not. Like, literally, no, it's not. Unless you're probably in, like, backwoods Kentucky in the middle of the sticks, maybe. But it's just, like, it's so crazy how people think that, like, this progressive lifestyle, it's like, we can't even have a voice. We can't say, excuse me, I don't really agree with that. And going to a Christian school, dude, every day was about unity. We would have assemblies at school. They would bring, people and be like, oh, yo, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. We're going to bring these dances to, they did this Mexican dance, and they're going to talk about their culture and what it means to them. Have these presentations about, human trafficking and sex slavery and how to end it, and we would, if we wanted to, donate money to, like, help end the sex trafficking, and, like, we would talk about how to be in healthy relationships and communication. There was free counseling at the school, and, like, diversity, and, like, we would bring, like, people from all different backgrounds, Indian days and, like, Black History Month, we had these things, and we talk about this and this and this, and it's just like, yo, even the dean of the school, kind of had a situation and came out publicly and apologized. And people think that, like, the South, Texas, Nashville, wherever, Georgia is just so racist, but it's like, dude, nah, like, you people with these conservative Christian values are like, yo, we want to actually bring people together because God made all of us. You know what I'm saying? And it was just so beautiful and eye-opening to me, and I was like, wow, this is so amazing, like, to pray in school and, like, you know, you sneeze and somebody says God bless you, like, and to just feel safe in your own head and like with people. You know what I mean? And there are people at the school, so many Muslims at the Christian school that I go to. And, you know, Muslims, Hindus, you know, we have so many people who are like, yeah, you know, we came to school from India, you know, we were Hindus or whatever, and we had our own encounters with Jesus, and we're Christians now or whatever. But nobody's saying you have to be a Christian, you have to do this, you have to do that. And even in, you know, our Bible classes, because we're required to take them, there are people of all walks of life who are like, yo, we're agnostic, we're not really Christians. But it's cool. Nobody's forcing them. Our teachers even say, we're not forcing you to believe anything. You're gonna believe what you want. We're just Christians, and like, but we're not forcing it on you. You know what I'm saying? We could talk about anything, and it's cool. We want to hear everybody's opinion. We want to hear everybody's voice, and we don't shut anyone out. You know, so it was just really amazing to, you know, have those experiences, and, you know, in Nashville, a complete 180 from living in Portland, and I'm really excited to go back to Nashville in the fall and stuff next month. But yeah, guys, that was my personal experience at a liberal school and a Christian school, and I want to know what you guys think and what your experiences have been. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you guys. Have a great day. God bless you and your families. Peace, y'all.